Hello, everyone. So we are gonna have another MATHCOUNTS problem. So this was 2023, sprint number 28. So this was actually one of the interesting problems. So we have. So the question asks to simplify this whole mess, right? So whenever we have a bunch of terms, especially with the fraction stuff, we try to like find the telescoping series if possible, or maybe writing as like difference of two fractions. Some people may call like Egyptian fraction stuff. So for this question, I'll try that as well. So let's see if that's going to help. So let's make it a bit smaller. So the first thing that I probably need to remind is just realizing the numerator, like 1 over these fractions. So I'm going to just take one of them and then we can just finish up the rest, the same idea. So 1 over 2021 times 2022 can be written as 1 over 2021 minus 1 over 2022. So like if you subtract this from this, you actually get this one because the numerator will be 2022 minus 2021. So that's just one. But we are lucky because we are going to get the same thing with the other guys as well, because we have two. So if I just maybe, I don't know, show one of the other ones as well. Let's take this, the third one. So if I write this 3 over 2017, right? So that's 2017 and then 2020. So this is also equal to 1 over 2017 minus 1 over 2020. So when you multiply this fraction by 2020, you get 2020 as numerator, and then this is going to be multiplied by 2017. So you get 2017 difference. So it will be this 3. So we do have the same relation with every one of these fractions, which is actually nicer. So which is what I'll just write as the difference of those fractions. So let's go ahead and do that. The first one was already given right here now. So we have 1 over 2021. So I need to make it a bit better. So 21 minus 1 over 2022. And the second one is 1 over 2019 minus 1 over 21. And if I just keep doing this, so I will get 1 over 2017 minus 1 over 2020. And I can keep doing this. The last two would be 1 over 3 minus 1 over 1013, and then 1 over 1 minus 1 over 1012. So again, you can always like confirm that. So if I take the last two, that should give me this one. These two will give me this one. So, and then if you kind of see that immediately, you can skip some of like writing some of these fractions, but I just did anyway. So the denominator is kind of similar, but like we don't have the two numbers, but we have every fraction has like 2022. Maybe it's better to pull that as a factor. So which I will do that. And that will give us 1 over 1011, 1 over 1010, and 1 over 1009, and then 1 over 2, and 1 over 1. Okay, so now like we do have some like stuff in the numerator, like some of them is like positive, some of them is negative, and then you may attempt to cancel this by this, but after that there is not much really cancellation, because we do have like the negative numbers like 1 over 1012, 1013, and like these numbers, like there's no lesser values than 1012, right? But the positive ones like have 1 over 1, 1 over 3. So which is why even though we have some cancellation, it's not gonna telescope anyway. So which is not a good point, but we are gonna try something else maybe. So what I will try, maybe I'll pull the positive ones together and negative ones together just to hope something nice will happen. So let's go ahead and do that. So 1 over 2021. So 1 over 2019. 1 over 2017. And I will keep doing this all the way to the 1/3 plus 1 over 1. So this is the ones that is positive, if I subtract the other ones, which is 1 over 2022, and then we got 2021, and then we got 2020, and I will keep adding those. So we do have like, so 2013 and 2012. Okay, so maybe I'll just write the denominator one more time, but it will take a bit longer. Okay, so let's write anyway. So that will give us this same denominator. I'm gonna kind of say that this is gonna be the same as this one. I'm just kind of skipping that writing part. Okay, so now we do have these, but there is not really something going on. Maybe we can just do some sort of like substitution. So like you look at this one, this is 1 over 2, 1 over 1, 1 over 2, all the way to the 1 over 1011. And the denominator are just increasing by 1 all the way to 1011. But this one is 1012, 1013, all the way to the 2020. So these are also increasing by 1, but it just not the same denominator. So we just have continue from the 2012 to 2022. But these guys are the bad ones because just the odd numbers. So which is why we need to find a way to relate those. So what I'll try, I'm gonna just kind of take these like numbers, like this sum, I'm gonna call this as x, which will be my, like this part as well. I just didn't write it. So that will be x. But x is 1 over 1, 1 over 2. Then they are just increasing by 1 for the denominator part. And if I want to maybe name another one, because like if I have like starting from 1 over 1 all the way to 1 over 2022, that is just going to be the x plus these numbers. Maybe I can just call those all together something else. So let me label that as well. So if I call 1 over 1, 1 over 2, 1 over 3, all the way to the 1 over like 1011 plus 1 over 1012 all the way to the 1 over 2022, right? So if I call this, the whole thing is x, I mean y, because we called the other one is x. So if this is y, then we know that like 1 over 1 all the way to 1 over 1001, which is basically this part, this is x, right? So which means the remaining part right here, 1 over 1012 all the way to 2022, which is just this part, has to be my y minus x. So I hope that will kind of make sense. So this part will be y minus x. So these are all good, but now we do need to deal with kind of play with this as a bit as well, because these are just the odd numbers, not the even numbers. So I'm gonna kind of like clear this part. So I hope we can use that space. Like if I wanna find the, like if I can find this one in terms of x and y somehow, then maybe that will be like useful. So let's try and see. So like the things are like we are missing 1 over 2, 1 over 4, 1 over 6, all the way to 1 over 2020, right? So we are just missing the even numbers. Like if I have this way, like when you have the 1 over 1 all the way to 2022, which is like one higher than this number, so that we can just say, if I subtract this fraction from y, then what's left over will be y minus 1 over 2022. So then I will just say this, y minus 1 over 2022 is equal to everything right here plus the even part, right? So then this part, this parenthesis will be the y minus 1 over 2022, which is the everything right here. And this guy, so let me take that, and minus the even fractional part. So we can just say that would be like 1 over 2 and then 1/4 all the way to the 1/2020. But since we have every fraction is even, maybe I can pull that 1/2. So the 1/2 will be just 1/1, and then 1/4 will be 1/2. 1/6 will be 1/3. The reason why I'm just doing this because I know that these numbers, when you increase by 1, we do have some substitution already. And then we are going to continue this by all the way to 2020. So which means that the last term should be 1/1010. So as we know that, like when you have the fraction all the way to 1011, that was x, but this is one lower. So which is why this guy, the y minus 1/2022 minus 1/2 times this guy is gonna be just x minus the last fraction. So I can write as x minus 1/1011. So if you have lost right here, so like kind of pause and then maybe slow a bit to digest this part carefully and then move after. So when you take these even from this guy, we actually get this part, which is actually gonna be replaced with what we want. So I'm gonna use maybe a different color just to kind of distinguish. So let's try to finish up that. So then I will just get y minus 1/2022 minus 1/2x, and then negative and negative, that's plus 1/2022 as well, because 2 times this will be there. And then this is gonna be this part. So because this difference was this only, and minus the second parenthesis, which we know y minus x. So if I subtract that, so that will be y plus x. And the denominator was 2022 times x. 2022 times x. We are lucky because these guys will cancel, these guys will cancel. So x minus 1/2 is 1/2x, and then x will cancel. So you get 1/2 divided by this will give us 1/4044. So this was quite challenging to see, but as I kind of mentioned at the beginning, telescoping series or writing like different subfractions kind of what we usually try. And in most cases, that does really help. And in this case, we have to kind of use that, but we also did some sort of substitution. So that was what we have. So if you have some other ways, maybe better than this one, so let me know what you did and how you got the answer, but that was at least one way to do this problem. I'll see you in the next video.